Shalom and welcome. I'm back, your presenter Esther. Today we have Tony, who works for Broughton Library as a librarian and decided to volunteer as a bike ride race in Cuba in the Caribbean. Thank you, Tony, for coming in to speak to my listeners today about your bike ride. My first question is, which organisation did you participate and what encouraged you to participate in the bike ride?
Well, the organisation that I did the bike ride for is called the Cuba Solidarity Campaign. It's an organisation that has been running sponsored bike rides around Cuba for about the last 15 years or so. What made me decide to do it was a few years prior, a friend of mine had just had his 60th birthday and he'd run a marathon 2 days after his 60th birthday. So I sort of saw it as a bit of a challenge. So I thought, well, if he can do that, I'll see what I can do. Now, I can't run, but I did have a bike, so I thought I'd look around for any kind of sponsored cycle rides that I could do, and then I came across this one in Cuba.
Amazing. How many days did it take for you to cycle?
The actual cycling was 5 days, although the trip, we were there for 9 days because we did a bit of sightseeing, and then we went to health clinics and we went to the school that we raised money for and various other things.
How many kilometres was this altogether?
315 kilometres altogether, which is just over 200 miles.
And if you were tired whilst you were cycling, were you able to stop?
We were, yeah. It was, it was organised. It wasn't a race, and it was organised so that everybody could finish. We even had a bus behind us that had like all spurs in case your bike got broken. And if you did become too tired, you could even jump on the bus. But I didn't find it that difficult. The last 2 days were difficult, but yeah, we could have stopped if we wanted to.
And how much money did you raise for this organisation?
Well, there were 14 of us that did it, and we raised £24,000 altogether.
That's amazing, and I'm sure it's helped all these children, have a bit of a more positive atmosphere and a positive life, if they've got an organisation helping them get money, which can benefit their lives for a better, purpose.
Yeah, well, we all took things with us as well, like DVDs, and there's various things that they can't get in Cuba because of the blockade that the United States imposes on the island. Even things like musical instruments they can't get, which is a bit ironic for one of the most musical places on the earth. So I had an old trumpet that I used to play as a kid, so I took that along with me. We took things like drumsticks, guitar strings. So as well as raising the money, we also took a few bits and pieces ourselves.
That's amazing you did that, because in England, we kind of take things for granted that we're allowed this and that. So it shows that you went out to a place where unfortunately can't have it and show them opportunities. So thank you for that. And also you said you did meet the children, the families. What was it like when you saw the children, the families? What was their reaction?
It was really moving, going round to the school and seeing the kids. They put on a bit of a display for us. They did. Because it's partly a music school, so they put on a musical performance for us. They had a choir singing, playing the piano, all the rest of it, and they took us around the classrooms as well to show us the kids using braille paper that they'd bought with the funds that other bike riders had raised for them in the past, because that's one of the things that's very difficult for them to get is braille paper, because I think it's something like 90% of the world's braille paper is made in the United States, and they refuse to sell it to Cuba. And not only that, if you're Spanish and you buy braille paper from the United States, you have to sign a contract to say that you won't resell that onto Cuba. So the kids couldn't even get braille paper. So that's one of the things that we were raising money for.
I kind of understand how these children feel, because I myself am vision impaired, so I understand what it means when you sometimes aren't able to do things that other people who can do it. So I appreciate it that you went and helped out children who are vision impaired. If one would like to donate money to these children with a vision impairment, how can they go about that?
Well, you could just do an internet search for the Cuba Solidarity Campaign, and there's various, you can either donate money to them or you could sign up to do a bike ride with them. There's a couple of people that I know that have done 2 or 3 bike rides. And another way to help, not just the kids at the school, but like the Cuban people in general, is just to go for a holiday there, and while you're there to find out as much about the place as you can.
Can you tell me if you've got any positive stories or interesting information you can share with me today?
Well, there's I don't know, I suppose a couple of slightly humorous things. When we first arrived there, all our bikes had gone missing, so we had to wait for 24 hours to get the bikes back. They'd been misplaced at the airport. No one seemed to know, but it seemed to be a regular thing that happens at Havana Airport, that things go missing and they turn up again. So that was a bit of a scare at the start. And we actually finished the ride in a monsoon. It was the heaviest rain I've ever experienced in my life. You couldn't see more than a couple of feet from your face. So, we all had to stop and wait until the heavy downpour had finished and then finish off the ride then. But yeah, that was quite interesting.
So compare the monsoon to the rain we have here. It's probably much worse than the monsoon that is here.
It doesn't rain much in Cuba, but when it rains, it really rains.
Right. And if one wants to participate in the bike ride, once again, how can they go about this?
Well, you'd contact the Cuba Solidarity Campaign. It's not... I'd love to do the bike ride again, but you have to raise £3,000 before you can do it. That's to pay for your airfare, getting your bike over there, and then the money that goes to the school. So you'd have to be prepared to do that. People do that in various ways, hold raffles and, they put gigs on and all the rest of it. But yeah, you'd have to raise that kind of money first, and then you can go and you can do the bike ride.
Well, thank you, Tony. You can follow us on Facebook, Awaz Community Radio, or on Twitter at AwazRadio122. Thank you for listening to me today. Your presenter, Esther. Shalom, and have a good day.